For Irish Illustrated, I'm Tim Priester with Tim O'Malley. It's one question, two analysts, 3 minutes. And the question today, what are your thoughts on a current Notre Dame coach as a head coach in waiting?
I am 98% against it all the time because the job is a different job. The 2% comes from the fact that two coaches of the perennial playoff teams are now the coaches in waiting in Ryan Day and Lincoln Riley. So I realize times have changed. I don't think that becoming Notre Dame head coach is just about your acumen as a football coach. And it's kind of unfortunate, but I really believe that to be the case. And I love a couple candidates on this team for head coaching jobs. I'm just not sure you want to debut at Notre Dame.
Well, I would agree with that. And it was interesting that during the press gathering for Niall Ivey, with the announcement of her succeeding Muffin McGraw, Jack Swarbrick said, I'm not normally a big fan of coach in waiting, but Niall Ivey was that. Now, that's a different set of circumstances.
Oh,
We're talking about a graduate, the first led the team to the first national title. It's a little different situation.
Well, the scrutiny, is a different situation.
Yeah, and I mean, ever since Bob Davie, you didn't. Well, I guess you could say Charlie Weiss too, because he hadn't been a head coach. But I'm not a big fan of it. That's why I want Clark Lee to leave after this year, as much as it's damaging to Notre Dame's fortunes in 2021. And I think people are gun shy because they think, well, he'll pull a Urban Meyer and he'll get a better offer and go somewhere else. I think Clark Lee's a different animal with a different level of respect for Notre Dame, especially having been here coaching. But I still think that that's the route that you want to go. You want him to leave after this year, be a head coach for a few years before you can really consider him to be the successor to Brian Kelly.
I selfishly want him to stay as long as humanly possible, coordinate the defense, and Notre Dame can find the next great head coach in 3 years, whoever he may be coming up through the ranks, because that might not be best for Coach Lee's career, but I'm a selfish guy, and I want Clark Lee to keep touchdowns down as long as he wants to do it in South Bend. I believe Lee would be better off coaching somewhere else first. I like his demeanor. You have to evolve as a coach. He would evolve from what he is now as well, just like Brian Kelly did. Brian Kelly has evolved since being at Notre Dame greatly. Obviously, he's a much better coach than when he got here. And I think the next best coach that I don't want him to leave either, because he coaches Notre Dame's defensive linemen to the fullest, is I think Mike Elston will be a great head coach at a lower level first going somewhere. And I never would have said that about Bob Diaco. I always thought Bob Diaco was the perfect second man, always stay defensive coordinator. Now, that was an easy call because we knew about his quirky personality and how the press conferences were going to go, and couldn't imagine what interviews would be like and recruiting and everything else. But I think Elston is the next best candidate for coach on the roster.
Yeah, there's been some talk about Tommy Rees, and I just right now at this stage I don't look at Tommy Rees as a coach in waiting, a head coach in waiting. Clark Lee, no doubt. Now, some people have expressed concern about his ability to recruit. His personality is his personality, and it's very measured and basically low key, which is difficult to give that great recruiting pitch. Now, in a head coaching role, I think it's a little bit different. But, these are all things that will be determined down the road. And your mention, Tim, of him staying on, Clark Lee, and having great defenses in Notre Dame, that'd probably be okay with me too.
It's all right. Yeah, we can always find new coaches coming through the pipeline. Look, 5 years ago, everybody's trying to hire Tom Herman. Now he's coming to Brian Kelly for advice. So
that's one question, two analysts, 3 minutes from Irish Illustrated.